And this is the original painting that you've done based on someone else's line work, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, it was like an illustration course, and
yeah.
they gave like a plain line work
Hmm.
with no design but diurnal shape, and I just had to like make it mine.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I want to say is it great job on a lot of the textures and stuff like that. I'm really impressed, I gotta say, with
Oh,
the orange that's put into the wrought iron or the iron of the potion. When you have a blacksmith doing this stuff, as they're hitting it with the hammer, the scales are falling off, and that oxidizing orange uh, happens on medieval ironwork. So um, for noticing that straight up, like that's just a great, um, you know, uh, that's the kind of senior kind of thinking about when you're thinking about materials. It's not just blue material. It's how is this thing made, and how is this thing constructed.
oh,
Um,
thank you.
so in that respect, really great job in the use of color on that.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much.
when I saw this picture initially, I thought like it's iconic, right? It's you'd be going through a dungeon, and you'd be hit by some goblin or something, and you want to like reach over and press the button and get that image of the potion. I was thinking like icons, and in your original one, uh, it's weird for me to go back and forth, but there isn't a lot of difference between the outside of the potion and the inside of the potion, with this orangey stuff happening on the outside. It kind of blends in.
Like the contrast between the liquid versus the magic aura that can has.
Yeah. So the first thing I did, just a quick paint over to
Mm.
break that up a little bit. You're right, visually, that when liquid hits the edge of a glass and it's full, it goes right to the edge. Um, like that's the way, when you hold up, well, I got this dirty water here, but when you hold it up, it goes right to the edge. It's my paintbrush. Um, but visually, we can take some liberties, and especially in the stylized realm. And so what I've done is I've just added some darker hues and some stuff
Adding
to
some chunk
to
to the
break it out.
glass.
Yeah. Um, some other things I did was, it's a reflective surface, so I just throw in some that wrought iron uh, cup at the bottom. Change that a little bit, and
Mhm.
I changed some stuff with the bubbles, because uh, you know just the surface of the bubbles to make it more match with what you've got here on the what you originally painted. You know what I'm saying?
Or yeah, okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah,
Okay.
more that Fresnel effect, it's called. That that
The
glass.
reflection of the bubbles
Yeah.
hitting and everything like that. So that's what I did with the inside of the liquid. I really got to say I love, it's a love potion, and you've put like the love kind of heart subtly into the potion. Another thing that's really cool about this, uh, you know it's I don't see did you use like a glaze,
Glaze?
like a AI filter to
Oh yeah,
stop?
yeah.
Yeah,
I did the glazing. Yeah.
yeah. That's cool. I haven't seen it a lot. I was like, there's extra texture in here, and so I was like, oh, cool. Um, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. So that's the first thing I did. If you notice, then we're moving to the iron.
Right.
And you've told us exactly where the light source is, right? You've given us this sphere, right, in the bubbles, and you've told us that in this on this picture, there's one major light source, and it's coming from this direction, right? Does that you following me?
Y- Yeah, yeah. That there's a highlight, so
Yeah,
there's the light.
yeah. So yeah, the highlight on the bottle is, yeah, for sure. But like the light that could be over here and reflecting or over here and reflecting. But like when you've marked it on a sphere, like on a bubble, on that bubble, you know that
Mhm.
like there's no other way that the light is going to hit
Right, right.
that
It's
thing
there.
unless it's on that spot on the bubble. So
Mhm.
you can kind of get away with it if you don't tell everybody like, hey, it's kind of coming from this direction or whatever. But so just so we're going to be really intentional about our light source because you've told us what it is. um,
Mhm.
and so a couple things I noticed is the lightest part of the metal here is not at that spot. It's just a little, it's close, it's really close, but it's just a little to the more central. And so I just moved it a little. Actually, I didn't take the time to change it, but I just extended it out to where it should be if it's hitting the glass, or the glass source is hitting, and then you've got you know some stuff over there. um
Right, right. Just line it up.
yeah, just lining it up. um where is it? So just again, changing if the light source is coming from top and above, then this top of the cask where the metal meets the cork is going to just have to line up with that. So I just kind of did a little quick thing. um,
Mhm.
there's a little spot where the cork kind of gets muddy near the edge here, where the cork.
Um, can you do a little on and off
Yeah,
just to see the layer? Oh, okay, yeah, 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 I see it. See it.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
just a little fuzzy. No problem or anything like that. But anyways, those are the little things that I did. I
Mhm.
didn't go into a ton of stuff. um I want to talk to you about reflections on your gold. um I'm not fully understanding what how this was made. um the reflections on the gold, like, is it a are these is it a stamp that was pressed into the gold? Was it a mold?
Oh, okay.
Was it lattice work that's placed up, like thin sheets of gold that are one placed on top of the other? And the more that you figure that out, the better it's going to be.
Help out the definition, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
um
I didn't think that
yeah,
through.
yeah. No, of course not. Another thing that I want to say is um the the reflections are inverted. Um, you've got the warmest tones on
Mhm.
the parts, like this big uh, swooping thing on the part that's reflecting outside. It, it are you
Mm,
following me? Okay, so
I-
gold is a reflective material, and I'm assuming that you're doing copper or gold or some kind of metallic, right?
right.
Right. So when gold is reflecting gold, it's reflecting this yellow thing, and or warm color that's reflecting back at it. So
Mhm.
when it's next to a blue thing, or it's the light from the blue thing is hitting the edge of this and bouncing at us,
All
then
right, bouncing back.
it's gonna be like darker to like more muted, or cooler. right?
Okay, okay, kind of, yeah.
And
It
when it's
contaminates light.
yeah, when it's hitting the inside of it and it's reflecting the orangeness or the goldness of the of itself, it's going to be warmer.
Right.
Okay, so here you've got the outside, which would the I'll just draw on here real quick with my mouse, but so that's really bad with a mouse. But
I see it. I see it.
this part right here, it's reflecting off the cool gray, right? And or it should be reflecting off the cool gray. And this part right here is should be reflecting off the warm gold.
Okay, okay, yeah. Now I see it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It should be it should be the other way around.
Yeah. Um, but anyways, so that's the feedback that I have for that. And then take your time over here at the bottom. Um, uh, I I'm not sure how much of this was your line drawing and how much is this something else, but it's um, yeah, I'm not sure where the lip is, right? It's cutting through that
All
part,
right.
right? And that might just be the line drawing, but take the time to
Yeah, the
fix,
real flesh out. Yeah,
you know.
I think if I remember correctly, I think I made a mistake there. Like the
Okay.
first time I did it was like not where it was supposed to be. Like the sign
Mhm.
was way more towards the right
Okay.
than or towards the center. So I just kind of moved it there.
Yeah, either way.
Just kinda
Anyways,
moved it there.
that's what I'm seeing on the potion. Um is helpful so far?
Super helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. The
Especially
next
the glass thing, because it's like debated whether or not you should have like the thicker or not the thicker glass.
yeah, it all depends on what you're going for. I'm used to recruiting in a very heavily stylized art, so that's kind of where
Mhm.
my brain is at.
Yeah.
But certainly, you want to, no matter what your choices are on that piece, you definitely want to break that. Oh, you definitely want to break up the orange
Yeah,
from
the contrast, right?
the contrast. So it's an iconic thing, follow through. Um,
Just that little more.
yeah, yeah. If we could go back to your portfolio again. And the
Mhm.
reason why I wanted to start there was because um, I'm seeing it in a few other places in your portfolio. So I'm just pulling up here and we're gonna share screen back to your portfolio. But um, we've got this picture, which is, amazingly rendered, can tell that you put a lot of time and effort into this illustration. Um, there's a lot of things to love about this. Um, but when you take a step back and shrink this down, the red of the stained glass behind is bleeding into the thigh, and you're not, you've taken some time to, have this really dynamic, well thought out pose. Um, and it's getting lost because of the thigh is hitting the stained glass because it's just too close in color.
All right. Yeah, it's too close. The,
In
the
your
shade.
yeah shades in um your your concepting here or your thumbnails or whatever, you
Mhm.
had it muted. You could do that. You could even have, you've chosen which parts are going to be saturated, and you could even, desaturate the stuff that's closest to um, the thigh, or I guess the hip here. And it's not a problem in other parts of that. as much because you've really got a really strong light source coming off the hand.
Mhm.
But you know, it's just something to consider. You know,
Yeah, yeah, some parts to just keep boosting that contrast, right?
yeah. Um, however you decide to do that. Um,
What would you say it's like a good way to like check my contrast? Be like, oh, I think here I could still use a little bit, or maybe these two tones are a little bit too close.
yeah, some people, you know, they desaturate the whole thing, um,
Mhm.
and um, and just look at it in grayscale to
Mhm.
evaluate. Um, you know,
Just go back to the good old grayscale and see
sure, you
what's
could do that.
working.
Um, but you could like right now, what I'm doing, like sometimes we get so close to the art that we can't see the forest for the trees, and um, you know, we're concentrated on one little part of it, and to take a step back, shrink it down the image, and see if it reads well. You know, from
Right, right.
a small icon or from a like if you're scrolling through a list of games and you're like, hey, this is this a good game? And you know, there's like, you know, 30 icons on the screen,
Yeah, it's like an
all trying to
inch
sell
big.
you, yeah, all trying to sell you this game that you could be like, oh, that looks good, you know, from this distance, you know, and I could tell what it is, and I from, you know, 90 feet away, it looks like that's a game I want to play. Like
Yeah, yeah.
someone really put in some work on this art. It's not just like you know, something bad.
Yeah,
Um,
just trying to do like a small test. Maybe even just quickly download it to my phone and see.
sure.
Does it work? Does it catch my eye?
Yeah. Um, so the next piece that I gonna go over is this one. This is, you know, a big step up for you. You know, I've been, you know, you're looking through your portfolio, and you know, you've done some really great work in your portfolio, obviously, but you know, this latest piece is, you know, really fantastic in a lot of ways.
Oh,
And I
thank
can
you.
tell you that I can tell that you've put in a lot of thought and effort into it, and you know, it certainly like it's one of the stronger pieces in your portfolio.
Oh, thank you,
I
thank you.
think.
I've been meaning to do like 6 more of those to just trying to revamp my portfolio.
Sure, yeah. Um, and um, yeah, you know, there's a lot of things that I love about this. You know, the use of color in the coins and the green filigree, or
Mhm.
not filigree. What's that other word?
Like the
Patina.
oxidation?
Yeah,
Yeah, patina,
patina.
patina.
Yeah. You know, that's really great. You know, this stuff has obviously been at sea, you know, it's going to be exposed to a lot of moisture. You know, or maybe it was down at the bottom of an ocean and algae is growing on it. But anyways, it's really cool. Um, and you just like to, I love to see complex colors, not just, hey, this is gold, or this is brown, this is wood, so it's all going to be brown, or this is
Right,
gold, so it's all going to
right.
be the same, you know, monochromatic, you know, no shades. So anyways, again, you've thrown in the same trick that I liked last time with some of the um, oxidization on the wrought iron stuff.
Yes.
I think some of the places where you've chosen to do it, um, it gets a little too close to the same tones that you've used in the gold and the wood.
Mhm.
So maybe I might suggest picking different spots for that. But again, love the choice of adding in different tones that make sense for what you're doing. Um, can I ask you a few questions? Is this your design, or is this something that you?
This is 100%
Nice,
from scratch.
nice. Well, you know, I love the octopus arm. That just like, you know, it's pirates. It's, you know, the everything just I like that. Anyways, and
No, actually, no, it's from like the final, let's say like the homework, final homework. but
Hmm.
it didn't have a design. It was just like a plain, like they grabbed the 3D model of like a basic gun
Hmm.
and then just to get a perspective, but without the design.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So let's talk about your gun. So um,
Hmm. Mhm.
here's the problem. So you've told us a lot about the scene. You've got a flat surface, flat table, you know, and
Mhm.
you've got these coins, and all the coins, or these specifically, these coins are laying flat. You know, these ones are not, maybe, but these two coins here that are on by themselves, laying on the thing, they're flat. So they should be very, very similar in how they're laid out. Now, one is obviously going to be a little bigger because it's closer to us, and we know about
Mhm.
that perspective. But there is a little problem with the roundness of the shape of the coins. I don't know, just just needs to be shaved off so that it's the same.
Mm.
Okay.
Just a little bit
Um,
squish down the ellipses.
yeah. And so here's the next problem. Because you included those coins, we know what the gun is resting on, and assuming that the gun is more or less perpendicular to the
Mhm.
thing, uh, these bolts are going to be the same sort of ellipses. They might change slightly, but there's a major, when
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
almost
same
exactly a
ellipses.
circle, which tells us that it's pointed like right at us as opposed to laying flat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, and then we've got another one on that. And again, we're going to this flintlock mechanism or whatever,
Mhm.
and just you know, thinking about it in a three-dimensional space, that it's going to be a little problem there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
like
the
it's not clear like the shape of the handle. I don't know,
yeah,
like tint.
the bulb. Oh, we got 10 minutes.
Yeah, the bolt thing.
Yeah. And so pointing again to the butt of the gun, we've got more of a problem again with perspective, and it's too this way. And so I just done a quick little demonstration, but do you see that um,
Yeah,
this
yeah, just
sphere
it
isn't?
should be looking a bit up.
Yeah. So anyways, that's just what I've done there. And we know all this because you've told us that this is the ground. This I've drawn this circle or square with a circle in it, and it's that's gonna be how we know. Anyways, so that's my redlining. Um,
Mhm.
I've just made a few changes here. I didn't have time to get to the butt of the gun or anything like that, but just change the bolts or the screws on the gun. And I really love how much depth is in the woodwork of the mug. And I just felt like you weren't giving yourself enough credit by flattening it out and making it all thing. So I
Oh,
just added some
okay, okay.
more depth to the,
A little bit more babbling.
yeah, beveling to that. And so yeah, that's
Yeah,
basically,
that looks pretty good for the contrast of the shape.
yeah. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Um, uh, how are you feeling?
That's pretty good. I was expecting a whole lot more, so I'm
Sorry?
gonna be calmer. I was expecting like a whole more errors, but I think
Oh, okay.
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, I'm you've obviously got a lot of talent, and I don't want to go through. I think we hit on most of it, right? There
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
like a ton of stuff that needs to be fixed, but that's what um, what stands out to me the most in this.
Yeah, the ellipses are always the tricky ones.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Especially like I really like the. I think what it's such a simple change, but the little beveling really
Mhm.
does add a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. Well, thank you, and you know, if there's any questions that you had.
um, Going forward, like my idea was to, because I feel like right now my portfolio is a bit too sparse, right? Like maybe it's not like maybe I don't have like a proper direction, I would say.
Okay.
So I
Um,
was thinking like doing 6 more of like these prop setups. What do you think about that?
um, we've got a few minutes left. You, 2 or 3 pieces, really great pieces, can get you hired someplace. It's not quantity, it's quality.
Just
Um,
pure quality.
yeah, so it is, you've picked a competitive section of the industry to, illustration. So you're probably not going to get a really start with maybe some smaller studios, um, or an associate level something, but when people are hiring for that, they're not expecting um, a ton of work. They know that you're just starting out. They know they want to see that you can do this and you can do it well, and that's the most important thing. Um, it's not like, so what, you gave me 6 more potions. I don't care. Like
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
like I give me 1 potion. I can see that you can do potions. Give me a sword. I I don't need, you know, you don't have to beat me over the head with it. Just
Right,
just
right.
do it once, or maybe twice if that's like, or 3 times if you're gonna, if like that's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna draw swords, and that's your, like, that's the only
The
job that
sword
you're,
guy.
you're the sword guy. But you know, you don't, I don't think you need 6, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, but yeah, um, and it doesn't hurt to rework stuff that's already in your portfolio. It, just saves a bunch of time. So you don't have to go back to the drawing board and be like, oh man, I gotta draw and paint and, come up with these
Yeah.
ideas again. You can just go back. There's nothing saying that you can't go back and fix your work. But that's you know, sometimes artists, once it's done, we just want it to be done and we never want to see it again. I get that. But anyways.
But whatever's more efficient right now.
Mhm. Any other questions?
So yeah, you will say like if I were to do more, it would be like 2, maybe 3, but more importantly, or well, a bit more efficient for me will be, yeah, just apply this feedback, right? Just
Yeah.
apply the feedback we got here, rework a little bit the pieces. Try to apply to, yeah, smaller studios, right? Uh, do you do you have like combination of as to places where uh or mostly that you have in mind?
I don't. No, there's
Okay.
you know, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah, I can give you portfolio advice, and I can give you art advice. But I don't want to give you career advice, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to be responsible for the decisions and the path that you travel in, how you're going to get there. you know.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Because if it were to fail, then you could come back on me and say, you gave me some bad advice. Whereas now I can just say, I gave you good advice about art and your portfolio. So
Yeah, I get it. That's more like a bit of like predicting the future for someone, right?
sure. Future's somewhat unpredictable.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks for listening. Thank you for being open to learning and feedback. Thank you for sharing your portfolio and doing the work. And I really enjoyed looking at your work.
Oh, thank
I
you.
don't say that to everybody. But it's a pleasure to see the thought that you put into it. Materials. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you for taking the time for
Hey, you're welcome.
taking a look and actually making. Oh, can you can you send me the corrections? Like,
Sure, I can do that.
yeah, like just a PNG,
Yeah.
so I can take a look. Oh, thank you. And uh, when I get them fixed, and when I do like maybe one or two more of these types of pieces, uh, is it okay if I send it to you
Yeah, I'd love to
to know
see
what you
it.
think? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you.
I gotta spread it around, so I can't um I can't give you constant feedback.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
no,
might be a
I
few
totally
months.
get it.
Yeah. But
Yeah, yeah, no, don't worry.
all right.
Yeah, just so you can take a look at it. Yeah, it's looking good.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you so much. You got a sick helmet there.
Oh, thanks. Peace, man.
Bye bye.